Hello from Sarah. Lately I have been busying myself with Mosaic Crochet. So today I would like to share with you what I have learned so far. Mosaic Crochet surely takes a little bit more effort than any other crochet technique because you don't only have to know how to crochet, but you have to follow a chart and know how to read it. Anyway, if you follow some simple rules, it is actually pretty easy, and most of all, it is totally addicting and satisfying. Rule number 1 is you always work on the right side of the project. This means you will attach yarn at the beginning of each row and cut it off at the end of each row, meaning that you will find yourself at the end of the project with lots of yarn tails on both sides of it. So what you will do at the end of the project is you either work a border around your project in order to hide all those tails underneath, or you just leave them being if the project allows it. You just trim them if necessary. Of course, you can also choose to weave them in afterwards, but it will take a lot of work since there are a lot of tails. Rule number 2. When you start a project, always add a single crochet, one single crochet at the beginning and one single crochet at the end of your chart, of your project. So here, for example, in this chart, if I count the stitches, I have 14 stitches. So I will chain 16 stitches. So I need to consider 2 more stitches than the ones you can count on the chart. Rule number 3. Each row of the chart is worked twice. Once, the first time with the main color or with color number 1, and the second time with color number 2, with the secondary color. And I will show you presently what this means. Rule number 4, you always start your projects with the first row done in single crochet in color 1 or in the main color, followed by a row in single crochet worked in the back loop only in color 2, in the secondary color. And this is what I will show you right now. So as I said, let's make it a practical exercise. So let's try and follow this chart. I have 14 stitches here, as I said, so I will chain 17, which is 16 plus 1. And then I will make a row in single crochet, the first one, and then I will show you how to proceed. So let's see. So here I have my main color, my color 1, which is this dark gray, and my color 2 is this lilac yarn. So here I have chained 17 and worked my first row of 16 stitches, which is the 14 given by the chart here, plus 2, one at the beginning and one at the end. So at the end of my first row, I should actually, this is my last stitch, I should make a knot and secure my yarn and cut it off, leaving a longish tail here. So I will not cut off the yarn in my tutorial today, but this is what you should do. And here I will attach my yarn in color 2, and how I do it is like this. So I insert the hook here in the first stitch, in the first single crochet of my first row, and attach my yarn. So the way I secure it in this case is like this. So I just slip it inside, then take my tail, wrap it around my hook, and make it pass through that first loop. And this way the yarn is secured. Then I enter with my hook into that small loop again, then chain 1 and single crochet. In this case, I'm working a regular single crochet in that first stitch of the row that is not included in my chart. Okay, let's say the single crochets I'm doing at the beginning and at the end of the row are the spaces I am using to create some kind of border to my project, and the space where I attach and cut my yarn. Okay, so as I said, we always begin with 2 rows, one in single crochet done in the main color and the second one in single crochet, but we will work in the back loop of that first row of single crochets only with color number 2, except for the first and last single crochets that, as I said, are not included in the chart. So here, so as you see, I'm not following the chart here because these first 2 rows are not included in the chart. Okay, it's just the beginning of the row, of the project, of the work. Okay, so I will just work 16 single crochets worked in the back loop of my first row. So here. So here I am approaching the end of the row. So this is my border stitch, let's say, the one that's not included in the chart. And here, just like in the beginning, I will work a normal single crochet, going with the hook under both loops here. Okay, so what I'll do is I complete my single crochet and I will make a small knot here and cut off yarn. Okay. Okay, so after these first 2 beginning rows, let's say, we will start reading the chart itself. So as I said earlier, each row in the chart is worked twice. Once with color number 1 and the second time with color number 2. So if we consider this row here as row number 1 of the chart, and we consider that the black design is made in color number 1 and the white squares, the white design is made in color number 2, let's consider this first row. So I have developed my own method that allows me to read the charts and make the work without making mistakes at the same time. So when I read a row, from right to left, of course, the first pass, let's say, of the row, I only consider the black squares, okay? And I consider in this case, the black squares for me will be so-called full stitches, while the white squares will be considered by me as no stitches, okay, as skipped stitches in a way. And I will show you now how this works. So this is my work so far. So as I said, I always attach yarn at the beginning of the row. So I insert the hook here, and just like before, I will take my yarn, my first color, chain 1 and single crochet in that first border stitch, let's say. Then I start reading the chart. As I said, I only consider the black squares as full stitches, as I call them. So I begin with 1 full stitch, which I will do in double crochet. Okay, I do a double crochet and I work over the stitches worked in color number 2, and I will attach my hook here below on the front small horizontal bar of the stitch below. So I attach my hook here and make my double crochet. Then, according to my chart, the second square is a white square, which I consider a no stitch, an empty stitch, a skipped stitch, because it's not a stitch I will do in my color number 1, but I will do it in color number 2. So in Mosaic Crochet, the skipping things is done in this case by making a single crochet worked in the back loop only of the next stitch, the one that's white on the chart, okay? So this for me is like, I don't know, a chain or a skipped stitch or an empty stitch. What follows is another full stitch in color 1, this one. So once again, I will make a double crochet working over the back loop stitch in color 2 and anchor my hook in that front small bar of my row number 1. Okay, so I attach it here and complete my single crochet, my double crochet. Once again, I have in my chart here a white square, which I call an empty square, which is done, as I said, by working in the back loop of the next stitch. Like this. Okay. Then, what do we have? Another full stitch. Okay, as you can see, it's very easy to recognize how the pattern is for these first rows. So it's alternated between full stitches and empty stitches. Full stitches in color 1 and empty stitches because they will be done in color 2. So this is how I'll work until the end of my row, and I will show you. So this is followed by a double crochet, which is done here. So we skip the next stitch practically. Then another empty stitch worked in the back loop. Then another double crochet, a full stitch. Then a back loop stitch, an empty stitch, double crochet, empty stitch, double crochet, empty, double. So, and the last stitch of the row, if we don't consider, as I always say, the single crochet at the end of the row, is an empty stitch. This one, a white square. So just like before, I will work a single crochet in the back loop here. Okay, and that's my row number 1 completed with color number 1, and I will finish my row with my standard single crochet here and secure the yarn and cut it off. Okay, so as I said, each row is worked twice and with both colors or with as many colors as you are using. So this means I will work this first row in color 2 now. So let's attach color 2 in that first border single crochet here. Chain 1 and single crochet, very normal single crochet in that border, single crochet. And now we will take into consideration the chart and follow it. Just like before, But this time I will only consider the white squares as full stitches, and my black squares will be the empty stitches, let's say. I will not consider them. I will work them as I'm showing you now. So first stitch is a black stitch. So I will make a no stitch. So a single crochet worked in the back loop only. There. While the second one is a white, you can see it here, a white square. So I will consider it and make a full stitch here, which is done with a double crochet. Now I have this small window here, let's call it, and I can see the front horizontal loop of that stitch below, done in color 2, and this is where I will anchor myself and do my double crochet here, like so. Okay, and you should know the row pattern by now. It's alternated between black squares and white squares. So here again I will alternate between full stitches and empty stitches. So I've just done a full stitch and I will make an empty stitch, working a single crochet in the back loop of the next stitch. Then I have a full stitch, followed by an empty stitch, followed by a full stitch where I will anchor myself in that front small vertical bar, horizontal bar, one row below, then empty stitch, followed by a full stitch, empty, and full. Oops. And here, as always, I have my border single crochet, where I will work a very normal single crochet and then make a knot and cut off yarn, which I'm not doing for this sample here. So, and this is just row number 1 completed. Okay, now in row number 2 I will show you another thing. So once again, let's start working row number 2, this one here. So we'll attach color 1 here on the. So here I attach my color number 1. Once again, make a chain and a single crochet in the same stitch here. A very normal single crochet. Okay, and now let's read the chart and see the row. Once again, we start with a full stitch in color 1. So we will make again a double crochet, anchoring my yarn in the front loop of the double crochet of previous row. Okay, in the chart, this full stitch is followed by a so-called empty stitch. So I will work a single crochet in the back loop above the next stitch, which was a double crochet in color 2. Then we consider only the black squares only, okay? Let's not forget it. So this is another full stitch in color 1, so I will work a double crochet. There you go, followed by an empty stitch. So here I don't care, I make a single crochet in the back loop only. Now it becomes interesting, let's say. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stitches that follows are full stitches, so they need to be worked in color 1. So what I do is I make a full stitch, so a double crochet, just like before, anchoring myself in the front loop only in the horizontal bar of the double crochet of previous row. So this is stitch 1 of 5. Now, the next stitch is a full stitch, but I cannot make a double crochet because I have nowhere to anchor it. So now I tell you that full stitches in mosaic crochet or overlay crochet are done in double crochet and in single crochets as well. So the next stitch will be done by working a very normal single crochet on the top of the next stitch. So this is stitch number 2 of 4 that needs to be worked in color number 1. So stitch 3 is this one, the middle one. I need to make another full stitch, and this time I have here a place where I can anchor my double crochet, so I can make a double crochet here. I don't need to make a full a single crochet. So stitch number 3. In stitch number 4 I have the same situation as here. I have nowhere to anchor my double crochet here, so I can only make a single crochet. So not in the back loop only, but a full single crochet here, a full stitch. Final stitch, this one, the 5th one, let's say, is another full stitch, and once again I can make a double crochet here and anchor it on top on the small front horizontal bar of my double crochet of previous row. Okay, so here I have my 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that correspond to these here. Then I have an empty stitch, which I will work again in the back loop, a single crochet in the back loop. Then I have another full stitch. I can make a double crochet here, followed by an empty stitch, followed by a full stitch that I can anchor below. Finally, an empty stitch and my border single crochet. Knot and secure my yarn. Okay, now I will work the same row in color number 2. So once again, I will insert the hook here in my beginning single crochet at the border and attach my yarn that is normally cut. Chain 1 and single crochet. There you go. Now we will look at the second row and consider the white squares only. Okay, so first square is a black one, so we don't consider it. That is to say, we will make an empty stitch, that is to say a single crochet in the back loop only of the next stitch. That's my skipping it. Then I have a full stitch in color 2. I can make a double crochet because I can anchor it on top of the front horizontal bar of my double crochet of previous row. There you go. So what follows is an empty stitch again, because I have a full stitch in color 1. Then I have again a full stitch in color 2, where I will make a double crochet. Okay, then I have the 5 stitches I did before in color 1, which are for me now in this second pass empty stitches, so-called empty stitches. This means for me in color 2 I should not consider them, and I will work all of them in the back loop of them. So single crochets in the back loop only of the next 5 stitches. 3, 4 and 5. Then once again I have a white square, which is for me a full stitch, and since I have somewhere to anchor below, I can make a double crochet. Followed by an empty stitch, followed by a full stitch again, which is a double crochet because I have somewhere to anchor below. And here we know it's alternated, so empty stitch. Finishing with a full stitch. And my border single crochet, where I will close my row and secure my yarn. Okay, and this is row number 2 completed. You can already see the design forming. So here I have already begun working in row number 3 here. So I have come until this part here, and I wanted to show you how to work these 3 boxes here, these 3 squares. So as you see here, I have worked, where is it now? 1 and 2 full stitches in color 1 that I could make a double crochet of here, alternated by empty stitches, so-called. So now I have another full stitch in color 1. Can I make a double crochet? Yes, I can, because I can anchor it here. Otherwise it would be a single crochet. So I make a double crochet here. And here it is. Then what do I have? I have 3 so-called empty stitches, which I will work, as you know, in the back loop of the next 3 stitches, making a single crochet. So 1, 2, 3, as if they were skipped stitches, because they are skipped in color 1. Okay. And then again, what do I have? I have a full stitch. Can I anchor it with a double crochet? Yes, I can. And here it is. And here I proceed just like before, alternating between empty stitches worked in the back loop and full stitches where I make a double crochet because I can. Otherwise it would be a single crochet. And this is the design forming, as you see. I don't know if my method is clear enough for you. It is for me, of course, and I think it helps. And I'm telling you because I think it might help you too in reading the charts. So I divide, as I said, between full stitches, so-called full stitches, and so-called empty stitches or skipped stitches. All skipped stitches will be made working in the back loop of the stitch of previous row, while all full stitches will be made whenever I can with a double crochet, and when not, with a single crochet, a normal single crochet. Yes, what I do in order to recognize where I can make a double crochet is, as I said, if I have in my row below somewhere where I can anchor my hook into here, okay? Whereas if I have a full double crochet, then I need to make a single crochet. I don't know if this is clear. Anyway, this is my own method. Another thing I wanted to show you very briefly is many mosaic crochet charts have these crosses here, okay? They are made actually to make the work simpler because they should stand for double crochet. So whenever you see a cross, this is where you will make a double crochet in that color. Anyway, I don't use the cross method. It just makes confusion, in my opinion. Well, for me, let's say. It may be very useful for others, of course, but it's not for me, so I don't consider the crosses. And, well, this is my method. I hope it helps. What you see here below is my next project. It's very, very big and very geometric, not so hard to follow, but I will make a free pattern of this, which will be released soon, so I will add the link to the pattern whenever it is ready, as soon as it is ready. Also, another thing that is fundamental for me, it is when you have to follow our chart, it is strongly advisable you print out the chart itself, and then with the help of a marker or a pen or something, you need to, let's say, mark each row whenever it's completely finished. So after 2 passes, 1 pass in color 1 and 1 pass in color 2, so as not to lose track of what you're doing. So this is very, very important for me. So this is it for today. I hope you find this tutorial helpful in a way. Thank you for watching and see you next time. Bye bye.